right, welcome everyone to another episode of Geek Vibes interview brought to you by Geek Vibes Nation. I'm your host, Dom Fisher, and today I have with me a relatively fresh face. He's an actor you've seen on the Watchmen series, This Is Us, and now has taken over the role as Inspector Deck for season 2 of the Hulu series Wu-Tang and American Saga, which premieres on September 8th. I'm pleased to welcome Uyoata Udi. How you doing,
Pleasure to
man?
meet you. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, man. When your people reached out, I was like, oh man, that's what's up. I know, I love the show, and it's hard to get to talk to people that you want to, when
Right,
you're not like the hugest name. And when she reached out,
right.
I was like, oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not
Like,
the hugest name yet.
yeah, no, like, look, for real. No, look, for real. When I was like, I looked at your IG and stuff, and then I was like, all right, man, dude's got like a certain way about him. And I remember watching the Watchmen series and saw you on there, and I was like, I know, it hasn't been like an extensive catalog yet, but I was like, dude got something. He got that X factor that like we're gonna see you climb, you know what I mean? And plus I like to speak it into existence for other people as well. So I see it, man, already.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. That means a lot.
So since there's not a this is hard for me. There wasn't a lot of information about you, so I was like, okay, I gotta like get creative.
Uh,
So uh without going into your whole life story, how do you define yourself?
I define myself as, I'm an enigma. It's just like daily. I just depending on what's needed is what I offer. You know what I mean? And it's hey, I'm a lot. I do a lot of different entities within the arts. You know what I'm saying? From acting, of course, to singing. You know what I'm saying? It's dancing or grooving, getting down. Like however, actually just recently, like yesterday, I just posted on my story. I was just like, I'm an artist because people get so moved and captivated like when I do something, another form of art. You know what I'm saying? I never saw art as like that. I always saw art as like one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing. I feel like if you're a singer, you know what I'm saying, the same note you sing, the same line is the same line you read while you're acting. There's a cadence to it, there's a melody to it, there's a sound to it. So I never really, I guess because I was gifted and blessed with, multifaceted talents, I was able to sort of sound and understand the difference in artistry and different factors of art. So yeah, I just defining myself as like, I'm that. I'm a fashionista. I'm like, but that's also art to me as well. Um, yeah, I'm a lover. I'm here for the people. I'm here for what people need, how to serve people, and how to be my best for people and give them a better life.
Yeah, and I definitely there's a great appreciation for that because we've heard like Kanye say it, we've heard Charles Gambino say it, or Donald Glover. People always, whatever they know you for, whenever you do something outside of that box, like you said, like they're gonna look at you like either why are you doing this or
Right.
surprise, oh they can do this too, and it's like yeah, we're all more than one thing. We all can do
Right.
multiple things. I don't know why we have to get put into this category that defines us for however long we do that one thing. It's crazy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So since we're on the topic of acting, how did you get into it? Like, how did this come about? Was it always a love for it, or did you just fall into it?
Yeah. I was, was at high school, I think. I was like in ninth grade. I used to play football. My brother, Uyoata Udi, he used to play football. He was good. Like my brother was like the guy. And so coming up and following my brother's footsteps, it was like, you couldn't be trash. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you just couldn't be trash. You had to be great. So I was like a freshman playing like JV and I played like tight end and whatnot. And I think I needed to find like an extra elective or something like that. And as I was walking to campus, I saw one of the drama teachers and she reached out to me. She said, yo, you should join this class. And I was like, I would love to, but I'm not so sure, you know what I mean? Because I'm on the football team, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a jock, you know what I'm saying? It's that thing again that you can't do more
Yeah.
than one element, you know? And so I actually joined the class and she had me mime an old man, and she was in tears after, you know, and she was like, and she told me, she was actually the first person to tell me, she said, one day you're going to be the greatest actor that people come to know. And I was like, cool. Appreciate you, Ma. Just give me the A on the test, you know what I'm saying? And I'm out of here. And actually thereafter, I went to a performing arts school called Hamilton High School, H-Town, shout out, where I started my career. You know, I started at you know, in 10th grade, and starting there, I was doing theater shows. I was all about theater. Being on Broadway was a mission for me, definitely. And I was blessed to have that. A year after I graduated, I did a Broadway show called Fella. And thereafter, I did the show Amazing Grace, the musical. And then it just sort of just, I was on Broadway, you know. It just, the ball started moving once I made up my mind that this is what it is I really wanted to do with my life.
Yeah. So, and how does that feel now? Because I think if it's, you know, life a lot of times is about timing. You know what I mean? Whether we pick the timing or we fell into place at the perfect time. We're now in this space of like young Black Hollywood is like has like an immense talent pool, and now it's finally being showcased. And with you getting this role, how did it feel getting the role in Inspector Deck? And also, how does it feel to be among like this great talent now too?
It was like 360 again. You know, it's just that thing of like, dang, what you set out to do, you actually accomplished. You know, and shout out to everybody that's out there that's really going after and chasing after their dreams, man. It's not easy. Like, it's a lot of naysayers. It's a lot of people that don't support you in the beginning. You know, they don't support you till they see, like, oh, shit, oh, that's you. Hey, yo, I see Uyoata. He was on the set. Hey, yo, that was my nigga. You know what I'm saying? We being cool. You know what I mean? It's like one of those, and it's like, dang, you was talking crap about me the other day. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's interesting. So getting that call was just, man, I was just grateful to God, you know? I was just like, wow, God, you know what I'm saying? You said what you would do. Like, you took me through this thing, you know what I mean? I set out my mission to be an actor, and finally it's here. This moment is here, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it was amazing. I mean, getting into the call, you know, the casting director, Kim Coleman, reached out to me, actually, my amazing manager. She was like, yo, I have somebody on the phone. And I was like, I was like, okay. And so she's like, I'm going to click over. You're going to enjoy this. I was like, all right. So Kim Coleman's on the line, and she's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know you should pack your bags because you're headed to New York. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I had nothing to say. And so my manager's like, I've never heard him speechless before. And so it's this interesting thing, but what are you going to say? You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing to say at that point. And definitely when she got off the phone, I was like, you know? But it was, man, it was it's a blessing. Truly a blessing, man.
So were you a fan of Wu-Tang? I'm gonna assume that you were in some capacity, but were you a fan of Wu-Tang growing up, or still a fan of Wu-Tang?
So I grew up in LA, you know what I'm saying? So I was more so familiar with NWA, Snoop Dogg, you know, Nate Dogg, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, you know, LA culture is LA culture, just as New York culture is New York. You know, we all have our different cultures. But I was always appreciative of like Wu-Tang, you know, of course, you know, I knew about Wu-Tang. That was a no, I don't know who would it, I didn't know people did not know Wu-Tang, honestly. I just didn't know that was a thing. But as I dove into the show, you know, I found such a greater appreciation for the Klan, you know what I mean? And what they stood for, the trials that they had to face, like what they had to overcome. You know, it's now deep in my appreciation. Absolutely.
Were you able to kind of spend some time or observe Inspector a little bit to kind of pick up on some mannerisms or his personality at all?
Man, you know, it's the reason I chuckled actually when you said it's not a lot of information on you was because it was difficult for me to find a lot of information on Deck. You know, Deck was that's man. Deck is just one of a kind. You know, like that Missy Elliott kind of vibe, like that sort of era is just nobody like him, no one of his sort of kind. You can only find one of him. And so yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to meet him just yet, but I'm definitely you know, I can't wait for that moment. But yeah, I was able to speak to him. Actually, I spoke to him once, and he had an extensive conversation with me about, you know, various things, like who he is, how he was in the clan, you know, his perspective is. And I was like, you know, what's the perspective of your family? Like, how did your family think of you, you know, and how did they see you? Did they see you as a star, you know, like we saw you? So he's sort of like, you know, there was that it was an interesting moment, because it's sort of similar to how my family sees me, you know. It's like, well, I had an older brother. He was just like, all right, yeah, he's cool. Like, that's my younger brother. He's cool. You know, it's not like, oh my gosh, like how people see me now. So that was interesting.
So was there, were you able to kind of go a different route than Joey did, or did you kind of build upon what he had built in the first season?
I would definitely say I think it's a totally different take on the role. I don't think anybody could do anything the same as someone else, or, you know what I mean? I think that my spirit is my spirit, and I think that Joey's spirit is Joey's spirit, as amazing as his spirit is, you know what I'm saying? Even his career, you see an Oscar in his hand, you know what I'm saying? It represents something. So, but yeah, I didn't want to put that in my mind or try to take on that. I can't do that. I got to be myself. And so, you know, I used the tools that I had from friends and family members that were of the generation and of the times. I had to reach out to them and say, yo, you know, what was the energy like? You know what I'm saying? I was trying to tap into that energy, because it's not like I can go back, you know what I'm saying, and be like, oh, shoot, Deck. Hey, yo, how you play this role? You know what I'm saying? Read the line for me real quick, bro. You know what I mean? It's more of a, how do I tap into the energy, and how do I access that energy? And that's through people that have experienced that specific time. And that's a very detailed time, you know what I'm saying? And the 90s, if you're a fan of Wu, you know every single lyric. You know every single word. It's not something you can just kind of pass by and kind of like bullshit your way through. It is specific, you know, to the T. So,
is there? Because we only got to see, which I guess is in the show. His name was Rebel, right? Is there? Are we gonna see? Since I know this season kind of goes into, I think it was 36 Chambers a little bit. Are we gonna get to see more of your character than we saw of that character in the first season?
Absolutely. You know, you'll definitely be seeing me throughout the season. But I don't want to say, dang, Dom, don't be trying to get me in trouble, dog. You know,
no.
Debut of the series regular, bro. I'm trying to keep a job, man. Have some love for a nigga, you know.
I was just hoping, you know, we get to see, you know, this, especially because, you know, the your announcement of being that character was big, right? And I know a lot of people consider Deck like their favorite. You know, my favorite's Meth, but like some people, they're like, nah, what you mean? Like Deck is, and you know, you can't argue it because everybody's so good that if someone says that's their favorite one, you're like, hey, I respect that, you know, response. So I was just hoping that, like, going into this, you know, them building the actual group and making more music, like, all right, so we need to see this character a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. The writers definitely have written Deck in more so throughout this season than the last season. So shout out to, you know, the writers of Wu-Tang and American Saga. And you know, and there was that space for me to just to enter into that role. And so I'm excited for fans to see that. You know, I mean, it's going to be a thrill.
What was it like having to be in New York for an extended period of time? Like, was that your first time going to New York, or?
Well, as I told you before, I was on Broadway, so
that's right.
I spent a lot of time in New York, and but you know, times change. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different era, it's a different time now. So when I was on Broadway, you know, I love the energy in New York is it's unforgettable. You know, you could be they don't even party like that for until 5 a.m. in LA. You know, clubs are shutting down at 2, you know what I'm saying? So in New York, I was all about tapping into the people there at the time. So while I was in New York, I was going out. I was, you know, it was crazy. My family would call me, be like, you know, how's the show going? How are things going? And then, you know, I'm in my element already. I like didn't break character because for me, it just is so, man, that, I was outside, as the New Yorkers say. You know, we outside. You know what I'm saying? We outside with it, son. You know what I mean? It just was what it was. Like, there's no other way for me to really do it because that's just the energy forever, for life. You know, if you're gonna be outside, you're gonna be outside.
Yeah. No,
you know what I
mean? Yeah. Do you have any? Because like I said, I feel like this is that perfect springboard into the stratosphere. So do you have any dream roles or people that you would like to work with in the future?
Absolutely, definitely. I could give you a list and a rundown. I mean, the true honest answer is just as someone who's creatively as passionate as I am about the work, you know, working with Din Tai, who's the director of one of the of 2 episodes in the season, just like like he's just so creative about the work. He's so invested, and that's what excites me the most. Like,
Right.
You know, it's dope to work with. Like, you meet your hero and you work with them, but they're not who you expected them to be. Then you kind of like, dang, so I can't put that much hope and trust in man. But man, Dan and I, we'd be going back and forth like, yo, you read this part? Yeah, I read that part and I felt this way. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, but I felt this way. What? How'd you get that from this? You know what I'm saying? And then it's a further investigation of the character, of the role, of the story in relation to me, the story in relation to Deck, the story in relation to the Wu-Tang clan as a whole. You know what I'm saying? It becomes bigger than what the eye is actually seeing. You know what I'm saying? The bigger picture, the bigger purpose. But yeah, like, that's just like, I'm down to work with somebody who's down to be creative, down to, that's not fearful, you know what I'm saying? That it's not caught up in any elements of themselves, but they're allowed themselves to get out the way to tap into the role that's to being, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy that. I love transformation. I love it. I live for it.
It seems like that's finally, that's the new wave. It seems like, is that people want to see creativity. They want to see, like, we know like when we see a story set up, when we know like this story's about to get ugly, and then it doesn't because of whatever restrictions that they had or cutoffs they had. You're like, oh, it was so good until the stuff that should have happened didn't happen. But now it seems like because people have a thirst and a hunger for like authenticity, that we're finally getting to that point. So like I said, like the timing is crazy because like I said, I feel like you're in the perfect space and it's all like lining up for you to like this, stratosphere, man.
Let me just say it's gonna hit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm just, now I'm humble, but I'm telling you it's gonna hit, man. And it's hitting because it's just in perfect alignment, and all glory to God, you know what I'm saying? Like, without God, I definitely wouldn't be here. I think my light is able to be showcased and seen by the masses. So it's in that moment that I realize, like, wow, and that's my brand, Udi taking over, you know what I mean? And how people view that is like, oh, he just taking over the city. Like, what are you taking over? But truly it's Udi taking over. It's way bigger than me. It's a higher being and a higher purpose that has taken me over, to experience the actual need for me in this world. And that's how it's going to hit. And I'm excited.
So last question, which is always going to be like my more playful question.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to be a cartoon character, what would be your everyday outfit?
Oh, what? I would just, it would change as I speak to people. So like as I'm talking to you right now, if my outfit could just like as I'm wearing this, I probably would wear this as a cartoon character too. You know what I mean? I would probably add a hat, add like a
Right.
long ass feather or something. You know what I mean? Just something unique and stylistic. I think that's how I go with my style and my vibes. It's all about how I feel in the moment. You know, how do I truly feel right now? You know, if I feel down, you know, it doesn't mean I'm gonna wear something that's like dark or something. I could feel happy and wear dark, but it's the way in which like this lays, like or this feels. It's the vibe of it. And I think that's how my cartoon character would be. Just be as true as I am. Just vibe with me as I'm vibing with you. And even in this moment, I think it would be dope as a cartoon character, like as I'm talking to you, if the cartoon character just switched a whole different outfit, but we still having the same conversation. Look, down, don't try to take my idea, dog. I need that 10%, bro. Don't play games, you know what I mean?
And it was crazy because I was looking at your when I was looking at your IG, I was like, you definitely kind of give off like Maxwell, Lenny Kravitz type of.
Hey, I'm with
you know
it.
what I
I
mean?
take it. I take it. But it's
So
not only that though, you know, and it's that in addition to, you know, people that don't know my uncles and that don't know my older brother. My older brother, who's incredible, Uyoata Udi, is a producer, a consultant, a stylist, and he's creative director, and his fashion sense, you know what I'm saying, which added to mine. And so above that is my uncles, you know what I'm saying, and my uncles. They're named Mr. Versace in our community. Like, you know, like I have an uncle, his Uncle Lee. Like he goes to Versace and selects 3 of the same looks, so nobody has his look. But that's what it was about. It's about being unique, you know, and just being yourself, but not being typical and not being like someone else. I definitely think that that's a huge thing for me, is just to be myself, you know, and be as, I don't think there's anything new under the sun, but just be as true as I am to myself. How do I really feel? You know, I rock anything I feel. Saying I like that hat, dog. You know what I mean? You want to send that in the mail real quick?
So speaking of social media, where can the fans? Because you're gonna get a lot of them. Where can they find you?
Oh, word. Uyoata Udi, Instagram. Udi taking over. UDITAKENOVER. Twitter, Udi taking over. Everything is Udi taking over because Udi is taking over and it's way bigger than me. So shout out, follow me, press the follow button, a like, a comment. It's all love, reciprocated as well. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time, man. This was fun. You're an amazing person.
Appreciate you.
Everybody make sure that you check out Wu-Tang and American Saga. Season 2 premieres September 8th. And we get to see, you know, the Udi takeover.
So,
So, man, I look forward to getting to talk to you later on down the road. And hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait.
So, man, peace.
Peace, love, and hair grease.